Hi, it's Elizabeth Willits here from Investing in Women. Welcome to this week's Facebook and LinkedIn Live. Thank you to everyone that is logging on and starting to join us. If you could let us know if you can hear us all right. Apologies, I've got a cold today, so I know my voice sounds a bit funny. But yeah, if you are logging on, do let us know if you can hear us all okay. Give us a like or an emoji. But I'm delighted because this week I'm chatting to Louise Webster from the ontheschoolrun.com. We're going to be talking all about how to get your mojo back and realize your full potential. But we are live on Facebook and on LinkedIn with Louise Webster from Beyond the School Run, talking about how to get your mojo back and realize your full potential. So hi Louise, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's brilliant to chat with you and hear about your story. You've had quite a life. You're an author, best-selling author, so I can't wait to find out more about your book as well and your business. But thank you so much to you for giving up your time this morning. So before we start, maybe if you could give people a bit of an introduction to you and your business, that would be absolutely brilliant.
Hi Liz, yeah, it's really good to chat to you again. So Beyond the School Run, I launched after my second child, and I launched it as a place to inspire, engage and connect predominantly mothers with their skills and talents in the hours available to them. I really noticed a huge issue with the amount of talent that was just drifting away from the school gates each day, with the lack of flexible working opportunities, and also not just the working opportunities, but also the inspiration and motivation to take your steps on your own journey, as well as the value that is needed to be put on caring. So I set up Beyond the School Run to create a place to really sort of basically reflecting what I was feeling at the time, which was what is going on. There seems to be nothing in between, all or nothing. And I wanted to find the bit in the middle so that I could really focus on the children, but also keep taking my steps. So Beyond the School Run started within about 6 months. I wasn't quite sure, other than this big urge to set something up, there wasn't really much going on in the world about this subject. And there's probably one life coach, one career coach who I know well, who was talking about it, and 1 or 2 publications. Now it's absolutely exploded. And within 6 months, at a brilliant timing actually, when I was sort of questioning, do I carry on? I got it. Downing Street contacted me and said, "Can you come in? We know this is a really big issue. Can you come in and talk about it?" And that was a real turning point for Beyond the School Run. And now, where we are now, it was set up in 2012. Now it reaches thousands of mothers across the globe via our website, social media channels, newsletter, and my book, A New Way for Mothers.
Brilliant. Oh, perfect. Got a few people watching. It's very cold in the UK. It is cold. And Sarah Clark, you might know, is giving a smiley face. Thank you for watching. Yes, I can't wait to hear about your book, actually. So you went into Downing Street. Who was the Prime Minister at the time?
Yeah, so it was David Cameron. I went to see his advisor for women's issues. And I've got pictures on my Instagram. I didn't actually have them on my website for a while, but it was such an amazing time. And I write about it in my book because I remember so clearly I was taking my 2 children to my husband's office so he could look after them whilst I went into Downing Street. So I literally had one in a buggy and the other one was walking, and I was on the train into town. And these 2 guys really kindly kind of helped me out. I was writing this in the book, helped me with buggy because I was struggling with everything, and I was like the kids. And then as I left to get off the train, they said to me, "Oh, so where are you off to? You off shopping?" And I just thought, oh my gosh, if that was my husband, you probably wouldn't have thought he'd be off shopping. But and I just didn't. I felt like saying to them, "I'm off to Downing Street," but the assumption is that I'm off shopping. So it was a lot of those kind of things that really made me think we really need to change our mindsets around mothers. We really need to really focus on this and really help women at the point they've been so creative, which is bringing new life into the world, is not only value and honor what they're doing, but also give them the inspiration and the steps to move forward. Because often it's very isolating when you're at home and you're caring for the children, whether it's mother or father. And so Downing Street was amazing. It was it was very practical actually. It was and then I had subsequent visits from there afterwards. It was a really, it was a great experience.
Wow, so you've had such an impact on, you know, so many women. And so thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'd hope so. I just felt there was a movement coming for sure when it kick-started, and there's been amazing people. There are amazing people doing stuff. And I remember when I set up Beyond the School Run, I remember thinking, this isn't just me. This is such a big issue. It's part of a jigsaw. And I knew with Beyond the School Run, I would see this. I didn't know how I'd see it unravel, but it would unravel, because Beyond the School Run is an umbrella for everything going on in this space. So whether it's flex recruiters, coaches, I wanted it to be a place where someone can come at the point that they become a parent, and they can find whatever steps they need, so they can come and find well-being, or they can find whatever, because there's so many different steps on this path. So I knew that there needed, but I didn't know how it was going to come. Now I can see where it is. You know, there's so many mothers out there who've gone on and helped other women. There's campaigners. So it's a collective. It's definitely been a huge collective group of people. Steve Jobs always said, you can see when the dots are joining up looking back. I can see it looking back now. I didn't know at the time. And I was a bit like, there were so many times I just thought, just go back to the old way, Louise. Just go back to working the way that, you know, you used to. And it just never felt, something kept holding me to do what I was doing. And a part of that, the main part of that, was needing to care for the kids.
Yeah. So Beyond the School Run's really an umbrella hub.
Yes.
If you're a parent, or I suppose anybody in a bit of a crossroads, you don't know what to do next, your site is a really good site, providing loads of different resources.
Yeah, because I believe the whole process of becoming a mother, there's a whole process in unraveling who you are, and there's so many different stages to that. So in terms of work, that's one element, but really knowing yourself, getting as energized or as healthy as all of these different elements, knowing how you best function, knowing what your purpose and passion is, all of those, it can be really unraveled in the parenting process. And that's probably the primary underlying focus of my book, is using this time of your children, almost reflecting back to you, parts of yourself that you can let go of or you can rediscover. And so Beyond the School Run is about really looking at the parent as a whole, and whatever they're ready to do. So it might be to find a flexible role, so they come to you, or they come on the website and they're like, I just don't even know what I want to do. Lots of women I know, when I set up, were just like, I don't want to do what I used to do. It doesn't roll right for now. It might feel, who knows, in the future. And I'm a perfect example of that, a bit evolving. But for right now, it has not enough meaning. I've only got 2 hours in the day. I can't, it doesn't make sense for me to go back to the old way. How do I fit in now? Or paying for nursery doesn't feel right, or I need to be around. So it's so many different steps in discovering that. So yes, it's an umbrella to find exactly, and it's exactly what I kept looking for. I was constantly looking. I was looking for meaning. I was looking for purpose. I was looking for information. I was looking for things that could keep me looking into the future. And that's what the place I want to create. I am creating for those who want to do the same. And also, if you're growing a business, to find the connections, the leads, all of that.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And I think women are so amazing. And I think when we come together, I really noticed when I became a mother, there was a bit of a divide which didn't need to exist between, and the term is wrong, working, non-working, because all mothers are working constantly. So it's irrelevant. So I really felt this need to bring the female motherhood together. And a lot of people are doing now, which is brilliant, to work together, support each other, and create a new way. A new way of doing things, our way.
I love that. I love that title.
That's our way that works for us.
Yeah, I love that. So why do you think a lot of people put their careers on hold when they have children? Speaking to mums and dads.
Yeah, it's funny, because my daughter was doing a little video the other day, and she was interviewing me about this, and she said, would you always have done the route you've done? And I said, well, I would have always chosen the route for yourselves I always put you first, but the circumstances, I think, need to change, the surrounding circumstances. And I don't think you should have to always step out. So in an ideal world, and this is what I always felt with Beyond the School Run, is I was bringing in what I felt was really lacking. And I think you should be able to pursue whatever you would choose to pursue, but the structure around us I think is not functioning how it should do. So first of all, you need a village to raise a child. So there's far too much emphasis on the mother doing it all. And if the mother can't do it, then that's far too much. And also, I think there isn't enough opportunities and inspiration to keep women inspired and connected. And also, I think there needs to be a big shift in female health and understanding of female health from the point in which you give birth, or pre and after. So there's so many different stages to that. So I absolutely, eventually I hope that, there's so far we need to go with this. And eventually I don't think there should even be a place for Beyond the Scrum, because hopefully it's not even required. But no, I don't think everyone should have, no, there shouldn't be. And I wouldn't expect that for my son or for my daughter. But I think the structure in which we parent in isn't how it should be.
I absolutely agree with you. Yeah.
And I think we need the village back, and we need a lot more honesty. But thankfully, Instagram has brought out a lot more honesty, and health is a huge one. Health, you hear time and time again about mothers up post, because it's too much. And the emphasis is far too much, and it's not really acceptable, to be honest. So that needs to shift.
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay.
And it probably needs to shift from very early on, and we need to change the dynamics with boys and girls very early on.
Yeah.
So the whole thing needs to change by the time people are becoming parents.
I mean, the shared parental leave scheme's not really working, is it? Men aren't taking it up in the numbers.
They should be. That's the thing. It should be, and it should be honoured, and it should be respected, and men should be, it should be an equal playing field when it comes to parenting, the way we probably all, it should be. Because it's an equal job. And this needs to shift. We need to, we need the actual point at which women give birth. That there needs to be a lot of change around that, because the amount of people then have to deal with the after effect of that experience. And there's a lot of people, you can see it all evolving on Instagram. And then, there's so many people helping women also try and sort out the whole, once you do, how do you keep your work going and take on all the duties? All of that is all off. So I think there's so much needs to happen from the early years, and that's probably where we need to kind of shake it up. And we need, and I'm so passionate about women. I think we talked about this before, the empowerment of women financially, and educating young girls about finances, getting this whole story of financial empowerment for women. That's probably, for me, female health and female finance is the next big thing.
Yeah. Had Kate say part of the reason she started her business was that when it gets big enough, she can employ mums flexibly.
Fabulous.
Resource. Thanks, Kate. And mums
love that. Yeah. And that's the joy of more women doing this. And I know lots of women that have set up businesses and who are doing exactly that, is they then go on and employ other women who are working within the hours. And that was the whole point, again, for me with Beyond the School Run. I was like, there's so much talent, and what are we doing just because we sort of somehow think they can't fit into those hours? But what they're also doing is something incredible, which is raising the next generation. It wasn't for mothers, none of us would be here. So I'm kind of like, we sort of all as a human race have kind of got to, I'm like, all those people in organizations going, no, sorry, because you can't do 5 days a week. It's like, yes, but the other job you're doing is infinite. The most important job on the planet. Yeah. Surely. Yeah. And sometimes that just baffles me. We're sort of like, so,
but I think response, actually, isn't it, from certain businesses saying, no, it has to be, it's no consideration about what other, commitments, things people have.
I think also we'll see, with any of it, is you'll see, I was saying about my children just that have gone through, just in the last year or so, things have shifted. You can then, your windows of time open up, so it does change. So you'd see that with men and women through an organisation. So they come through, then they would need to commit more to the caring stages. Then they come out again, and then the people who are underneath them will go through that process. So it's a sort of a constant evolutionary process. So it's not to ignore it or not honour it seems illogical to me.
Yeah,
so until we do, then I hope that Beyond the School Run can support all those. But it's brilliant, all those companies. I know a lot of people who are setting up companies and working with talent.
Thank you, Kate. So Sarah said women shouldn't have to choose between motherhood and their career, and the world of work has a long way to go. Monica said it feels post-COVID, with the increased acceptance of home working, there is a better structure for working mothers. What is still lacking? That's quite
okay, that's really interesting. I think what's been really interesting, and again, I talk about this lots in my book about, is how to work from home. And it's really, when you're used to working from an office, which most of us probably did pre-children, then work from home, it takes quite a lot to be productive, and a lot of it is about understanding yourself and how you best work. And I talk about this whole subject of finding your flow, and I don't know if you've explored this, but it's such an interesting subject of once you get into your flow. And your flow is when you sort of lose track of time, and you're sort of in your zone. They call it your zone. And it's so valuable when you're working. I remember when, say, my daughter was in nursery, and you had like an hour window to really use that time so valuably, that setting yourself up to get in your zone is probably the most valuable thing you can do. And often it's things like exercise or some form of mindfulness or getting outside, whatever it is putting those things into your routine and sticking to those routines that just, work for you, and then really decluttering any of the rest of the information that is coming from the outside. So it's, maybe like switch off the radio if there's lots of stuff, just keeping your head really clear. And it's really fine-tuning everything. I think when you become a mum, it's an amazing time to really fine-tune it all down to what really works for you, because we're all individual. But I think the premise is the same in finding all these kind of ways in which. So I think things have shifted a lot in terms of home working, which is absolutely brilliant. And what still needs to be added, I don't know. I think it's about an individual thing of finding what works for you and really sticking to it, not being influenced by anyone else.
Yeah. I mean, I would add that there is still some things that probably do need to be worked upon. So childcare costs, for example, are astronomical. And that is something I know that a lot of people are campaigning about. They're more expensive than a lot of people's mortgages. It makes working unaffordable, and that's one of the first barriers I think women face on the return to work. They're looking and thinking, I'm going to be paying to go to work. Is it worth it? Do I love my job enough to pay for the privilege of working?
And also, in those very early years where your children are so longing for you to be there, it's a very hard. I remember the point on which I decided to stop and sell my business was when I just remember dropping my son off, and he was they were just tearing him away from me at nursery, and I was like, and I don't think you wouldn't know that feeling until you have kids, and you're just like, this is so painful. This can't be right. I just kept going, this can't be right. And then situations would happen, you weren't there, and it would be one thing after another. So I think it's so important to be guided by what feels right for you, your circumstances, but keep on taking your steps. So what I really noticed on my Beyond the School Run journey, and I think there's a Beyond the School Run journey for everyone, and it's individual because each of our steps are individual, is that it's just so important to keep your steps going because it makes you feel really good. So even if it's one step, is to take that step. So it might be something that could feel, make contact with someone or put that idea out there, whatever it might be. And you might not know where it's going, but if it feels right and it lights something up in you, then that's your guide. And you won't know until probably 5 years down the line, because we don't know what all our jobs are turning into. But the interesting thing is it will make sense.
Yeah. Good. We've had some comments. Sarah says, offering support at the point of transition, mat leave and return.
Yeah.
Educating line managers on how best to support their female talent who are mothers. More senior women in the leadership teams who are mothers, who make it work and who act as role models. I agree. Because often there are senior women in leadership teams, but like you said, it's only when you become a mom and you have that heart-wrenching experience at the nursery day. You feel like, I got that feeling when I sent my daughter to nursery, and I felt like she was distraught. She was inconsolable.
Awful.
And it's very hard to then you're crying and then to go and do a good day's work feeling like carrying that with you.
And I think that's so right. Whoever just put this, I think within organizations we need to be so aware, and until we have, it's like anything, isn't it, until you have someone that's in those organizations that's currently experiencing it or just gone through it, it's really hard to bring that knowledge to a company, isn't it? So what we've done historically is most have been removed. So most haven't gone back in. So you're not bringing that information or that wisdom into the organization to work out solutions or to come up with new ways of doing things, to really see the change and see how it can benefit people and organizations. Because really companies are there not only to do what they're meant to do, but also to help those communities that they create within their workforce to thrive.
Yeah.
And, you know, part of that is recognizing our human evolution.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've talked a little bit about how businesses can better support career returners, but how do you think society can help people?
Yeah, that's really interesting. And I think the mindset thing is a really big one, because you often hear mothers sort of saying, you know, people's perceptions, and actually probably it's more about us just not taking on anyone's perception of what they think. But I think really supporting, really inspiring. And I always remember when my kids were really little, I remember walking into the supermarkets. We'd moved out of London, and the kids were little. It was my one journey out for the day, because I think, I don't know, I can't remember if I was breastfeeding or at the time or whatever, but it's my one journey. And I went into Tesco's, and it was just all so, you know, it was just all a bit. And I just thought, if they could just do one thing just to inspire me, just give me a bit of information, like something that would just ignite something in me, that would be amazing. I'd be so grateful. And it's things like that where it's almost, I think it's quite dumbing down. And I think we need more places to recognizing where mothers are at that time, and for society to kind of build them up, not regurgitate the same storylines and the same messages, is just help inspire and lift and bring the village. Let's create and help.
You're right about the village. And I mean, I suppose I think a lot of people lose confidence, don't they, when they've been on maternity leave, been on a career break. What would you say to somebody that feels they've lost skills and experience?
Yeah, you haven't lost the skills or experience. They're just inside there. What you're doing is you're doing something else, and you're bringing out another part of your human form, which is amazing. And please honor that and value that. You can feel quite stuck. I think the feeling of stuckness is quite an easy, because when we don't have the village, I keep referring to this, your windows of time are so short that you're so intensely focused on caring, which I think is out of balance in terms of how much caring we have to put in to raise children. So when you're doing that, it's really important to find those windows for you, and don't feel, you know, those windows are important. So finding that step, picking up that book, reading that bit of information, and you'll know it. So every time I was looking for something, or I was just like, I can't, this is just like, I would pick something up, or I'd watch a vlog. I know you talked about someone, I know, Liz, that really inspires you. And I remember I had Marie Forleo and a few others. I would just listen to their vlogs, and I'd probably have 20 minutes. I'd listen, and then I'd be like, okay, I'm inspired. I can get on now. And
it's great, actually, because you can, do you know, I might do it
something in you, can't it?
They control Alexa, but when they were younger, I used to have like all my podcasts playing in the day, and it would feel like I'd have an adult there, even if I was just, you know,
so good. And you don't need much. You just need something that is relevant to you, and the rest. But and I think also to be really brave and take those steps, because you're sort of, everything's paired right back. You're back to being. So even if it means, you know, like the times I used to think, I'm just going to go to this event or whatever it might be, and I would be like, no. And you know, I think when the kids are really little, you don't really do a huge amount because it's hard to get out of the house. But that one thing that I would take, and it would just really set me up, and I'd be like, so I think your confidence is not gone. I think we get confused a bit with confidence, because that makes it sound like we've lost something, but we haven't. It's just that other stuff have gone on top of it. So not to worry about it, it's just to take those steps and take a step daily. So for me, with Beyond the School Run, I've always made sure that I've taken a daily step, even if it's tiny, because I always knew those steps would add up over time. And I think it feels very good once you've taken that one step. So for example, you might be, you know, I remember seeing this explosion of mothers on Instagram, particularly fashion ones, who weren't particularly well known when I set up Beyond the School Run, but now have made massive careers out of what they're doing and transitioned. You might be finding something that is quite new, is a bit like that. So I remember when they probably set up, they're probably like, why are we posting a picture every day? But it feels kind of good. Or maybe they're feeling a bit isolated and they're feeling like they're connecting. So they probably don't even know what this is leading to. So to just do, and even if you're not even sure or it's totally out of what you're used to doing, take those steps and just see where it goes. Because I've seen incredible careers created over the last 10 years based on people, just mothers doing something that just feels or feeds a bit of them that's lacking. And I think we all know this, connection is a big one. Connection's huge. So what we do is we don't make that connection. That's why there's a lot of platforms, and connection is a big one, and creativity. So I think bringing out your creative side is also really important, whatever form you need to do that in. And that might be writing or doing videos or something.
Yeah, we've had some comments. So I think your work life before kids gives you a sense of self-worth. After kids, I lost myself, and getting back to work gave me Kate back. I struggled to get back into the workplace, and so retrained and set up on my own. And Sarah said, her too. Being part of groups of like-minded women is gold. I agree with you, Kate. Join as many as possible. It made me feel part of something and have a group of cheerleaders and people I cheerlead too. Christina said, being a mum, often still need the income. And I agree, Christina, having a side has such a great experience and keep self-confidence. That's good.
That's brilliant. And I think, you know, with all those kind of, there's so many opportunities to find flexible roles now. And I think that's really important, and keeping that, because also earning is a self, you know, makes you feel you're putting the output in and you're getting something, and that feels amazing and is important. So now I think there's so many more opportunities if people, you know, for people to find those as well.
Absolutely. So it says, Kate said, we value that we are doing something so important being mums, but the society expects and maybe doesn't value it as much.
Yes.
I think you're right.
I agree. And it's about choice. It's about choice. And that's what I want to bring is, you know, it's about everyone is in a different circumstance. So someone might have a completely different village set up to help them. So someone might have grandparents to help them so they can go back 2 days a week or whatever, and then they don't have to pay the child. So everyone has different circumstances. So it's just knowing that everyone's working hard, and it's not an easy for anyone else. But when we come together, I've seen amazing things happen, and you can also base that on your community. So, you know, I've seen amazing things evolve out of one person inspiring another in an area where women weren't, you know, possibly doing, and it just has this ripple effect.
Yeah,
and it's absolutely brilliant.
Absolutely. So, what jobs do you think are open to people that want to work school hours?
Yeah, so I mentioned this to you, Liz, didn't I? You know, ideally, I'd say all jobs really should be. I mean, I don't think we should be pigeonholing this in any way, because every woman here who's watching this has got an individual skill and talent, and they've got a lot. So it just so happens that once you have children, there's so much your focus has to go on to caring, which is just how it is, until we have the village. So I think for me, it's about following what feels good to you, and also changing when things go right. You know, so for example, beginning of this year, my background was PR. It felt like the right time for me to start going back into PR again, which I would never have known. So if I'd said that in the very early days of having the children setting up from the school, I wouldn't have known that. So keep things open and fluid. So, you know, and the point at which I've gone back to PR, all my experience with Beyond the School Run has been so relevant and kept me so up to date that that's got me back into my previous profession with far greater ease. So whatever you're choosing to do, you can feel it inside if it's right for you, and keep being open to changing and evolving as well.
Yeah, brilliant. And then finally, so what prompted you then to write the book? What made you want to write?
I had no idea I'd write a book, and I think as I write the book, I said, I remember my first job ever, my second job in PR or something. I was made redundant. It was a real blow at the time, and I'd say to any kid, I'd say to anyone now, it's really not. It's just redirecting you. So never be put off, because if something's not happening, it's redirecting you on another path. And it was because they sort of said, because you can't write or something along those kind of lines. And I ended up writing a book because a publisher contacted me, and I had so much I wanted to share around my journey, and I'd sort of created this program for myself in reconnecting myself with myself and my skills and talents. And I'd been talking about it on something similar to this, and this publisher in the US heard and said, have you got an idea for a book? And I was like, no, I never thought I'd write a book. And then I look back over all these newsletters I've been writing over a year process. I've never knew why I was writing these newsletters. Yeah. And then I look back, and every newsletter had created the chapter of the book. So I was documenting in these newsletters this experience which I was exploring myself, which was happiness, well-being, creating this new way of working. All of these I'd written in this newsletter. And then I look back over this, and that created, so every chapter of my book is based on each one of those. And it's kind of something I explored myself in the very first couple of years of 2 or 3 years of parenting. And at the point I was thinking, I really need to, how do I make this work when I can't find the flexible roles, and I can't get, and I can't, all the issues that you were mentioning about paying for childcare, all of them, and it's all in there. So yeah, I wrote it because I had something in me, and I just thought,
helped you feel scratched an itch and helped you feel.
Also, and I just thought if it will help someone else, then I'm going to do it. I mean, and it's a whole new experience.
Yeah. Was it time? Did it take a long time?
It takes a year. It takes about 9 months to write, and then the rest of the year for editing and putting it out there.
Exciting.
It's quite intense, and you do really need to know how to PR stuff, which I didn't. It does need to be promoted, otherwise it's quite hard to do it. But it's amazing, and I get messages. So I had a message from a young girl in India saying she read my book and now she knows she's on her way now, and it's things like that I sort of go. That's why I put it out there.
Definitely. So you talked about you returning, is it to PR as well?
Yeah.
What's next for you, and what's next for Beyond the School Run?
So next for me is, so I started early this year consulting again. And so I ran my own agency before. So I took on clients, and that's been great. And again, the thing for me is just take those steps, and you don't know where it's going to lead. So and then the next step for me is I'm now going back in-house. So it's just been really interesting to see how this has unraveled, and it's, and I'm so excited about it, and I would never have known that was going to be the next step. So I think really keep things open, follow what feels right to you, and keep your routine and your self-engaged. And I think, like that other listener that mentioned, is connecting with yourself. That's all this is about, is making that connection with yourself, because that's all that matters. And you can know what steps to take. And then for me, this is about every woman having a choice to then at any stage step into whatever path they need to take, based on whatever their circumstances.
Well, good luck. Is it Monday you start?
Yes.
Good luck. Brilliant.
Thank you. I'm really excited.
Fantastic. So I don't know if anyone's got any final questions. I know you've got to get off, but this has been amazing. Thank you so
great
much.
To chat to you. And if anyone wants to join us, we have our closed Facebook group at Beyond the School Run, spaces in between. They can come onto the website at beyondtheschoolrun.com and register for our newsletter, or they can follow us on Instagram. And so I just hope that people can find all they need and the connections they need to take their steps.
Brilliant. And it sounds like you're such a good hub. So if if people are watching this and they've got any friends that are maybe feeling a little bit lost and don't know, which way to go, then you've got
come and find us, because that's what we're there for, is to help you find those steps. And once you're on your path, then and everyone deserves to be on their path. And Liz, you're doing amazing stuff. Well, so thank you for doing what you're doing.
Oh, someone said, where can they find the book?
So the book's on Amazon. It's called A New Way for Mothers, and Louise Webster, and it's on Amazon. And thank you. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on the book, or if you have any questions, but there's so many tips and information there. So please do get in touch with any feedback.
Perfect. All right. And a lot of people are saying good luck for Monday. Good luck for you.
Thank you. That's so kind. And good luck with you. And I love hearing when I see people's steps and they're taking. So connect with me on Instagram, or
you're on LinkedIn as well, aren't you?
I'm on LinkedIn. So, and Beyond the School Run continues, and it's going to grow until it's done what it needs to do. And it's there for you all.
Brilliant. Oh, perfect. Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
Liz.
Thank you so much, Louise, for your time, and thank you to everybody who has watched this week. I hope you've all enjoyed it, and speak to you again soon, and good luck for Monday. Thank you.
A lot, Liz. So nice to connect with you.
Yeah, see you soon, everyone. Thank you.
Guys.
Bye.
Bye.